Hi there, my name is Dylan Patel. I'm going to do an online presentation on open source. I'll discuss what open source is. I'll talk about the pros and cons and the license agreement, and I'll also review at the end and conclude with a closing statement. So what is open source? Open source is known as a developing model open to anyone that wants to access products, software, and product blueprints to improve designs that are available currently or create relevant products. Popularity of open source systems. So open source became widely popular when internet usage began to increase by developers, producers, and users of internet. More products were available at this time, and more initiatives were made to develop modifications. Establishment of open source. So the reason why open source was created was to inform people of the copyright, licensing, and domain rules established for what you can and cannot do, what laws are made for each business that creates a new open source code. Prices of open source systems. So generally, open source refers to a computer program that has a source code available for all people to use and modify from an original piece that was created. And currently, all open source codes are free. There's no charge. If a business creates a new code based on an old code, it still has to be free. IBM released open source code. So in the 1950s and 1960s, IBM released their first open source code, and it was called Share. And what Share did was it tuned into a forum used to exchange technical operation systems and other programs, such as operating systems, database systems, programming languages, and user experiences. Modern examples of released open source codes. Two of them that are the main ones right now are the LibreOffice and the GNU image manipulation program. These were created and released around the 2000s. And a licensing agreement became popular in the 1990s. The licensing agreements opened for open sources promoted collaboration and sharing of information amongst businesses and users out in the Wi-Fi and the internet world. And then also allow for modifications to occur to be made on these source codes and use those changes to benefit a company's project or a personal project. However, these companies were obligated to make these source codes free and allow for anybody that wants to modify these codes from the original SIG to the next SIG be modified for free. Examples of licensing agreements are Eclipse Public License, Mozilla Public License 2.0 was the old version, now Eclipse is the new version, and then Microsoft Reciprocal License. There are many licenses out there. I picked these two because I did my research on them, and these were my references. The Open Source Initiative, OSI. The Open Source Initiative is like a review process. They go through their committee that goes through each proposed license agreement, and they review it and go through a line of individuals and upper heads, and then from there they'll approve the license to be established amongst the businesses in the industry. So why is open source and why is open source a good thing, and why is having it advantageous? So it saved roughly $60 million for businesses per year. This is because the cost of an open source code to modify and to have is free. So these non-cost opportunities save a lot of money for companies per year. Another thing is that there's continuous modifications. So new products are made in order for a company to use and benefit from it. And then also these new products lead to less vulnerability to viruses, hackers, and minor setbacks that could have been from the previous product. On top of that, a person or a business is now locked into one vendor, and what that means is that you don't have to stay with one vendor, sign a contract with one vendor, stick with that for many years, you can switch back and forth. You can go through many modifications and pick whatever you need to benefit your company. And it also can be personalized to benefit your company and business, and the sake that it can make you more efficient by you adding more of the things that you need for your company instead of having other companies' inputs in the things that you need. Disadvantages to open source. Like I stated before, companies are able to benefit by being able to revise software for their personal benefit. Well, this won't help others. One company will make it towards their efficiency and for their efficiency and their company usage. Other companies won't be able to benefit off that, most likely because it won't be shaped to their company. So this is one of the disadvantages. The next two disadvantages is that there's low technical cost or technical support, sorry, and which this means that is if you have an issue, you cannot track a user down to contact them to fix it. Usually a user is one person or a group of people that do it and produce a new source code. So this is an issue because you have limited access to help. And this will lead to indirect costs because you will have to bring people from outside of the company to come and modify and fix your software for you, and you have to pay them. Review. First, I will talk about some pros. Open source systems allow for availability for many softwares to be created, and this could lead to modifications that will improve the software that was made before. And then you can also have a company save a large sum of money just because they don't have to pay for these open source codes. And then the use of this money can go towards departmental tasks, such as hiring employees, updating other business needs, and also updating software that they need for other things. Also, customization can protect and advance company strategies and make them more efficient and make them also leaders of their industry if it comes to that point. One disadvantage is that indirect support costs can occur, and this could be a large sum if you have to hire a company or individual to come in and fix your issues for you. This is like the biggest thing that you can have that could lead to the most money being spent on certain technical supports. So overall, being able to build a product that is based on a product that's already created, to issue modifications and make problem-free modifications can be vital to many strategy plans for businesses or an individual out there that is looking to build off this creative source code. So thank you for listening to my open source presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in class or via email. And I hope you enjoyed the presentation.